Hello, BookTube. I am doing a chapter-by-chapter read-along of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. This started out sort of haphazardly. David Wiley and Tony from An Erudite Adventure and I decided we would read The Two Towers last month. And David even broke up the book, that The Two Towers part of The Lord of the Rings. He broke it up into 4 parts so that we would have 4 different weekends to talk about things. And I took matters into my own hands. I went rogue, as I tend to do on this channel, and just started breaking down each individual chapter. And now I'm hooked. Now I want to keep doing it. I'm at least going to go to the end of Lord of the Rings, and then I think I will wrap around and do the Fellowship of the Ring as well. But we are at a crucial falling action point in The Return of the King. The Return of the King is split into 2 narratives. The book, basically, starting at The Two Towers, is split into 2 narratives. One follows the hobbits, Frodo and Sam, as they make their way into Mordor to destroy the One Ring. All the other plotline involves our heroes fighting the Lord of the Rings, Sauron, in conventional warfare on the fields of battle. And we're following that second plotline for the beginning part of Return of the King. And that conventional battle has resulted in an unlooked-for success. Not only has Aragorn, by taking the paths of the dead and bringing dead warriors back to fight for him, not only has he managed to help turn the tide of the siege of Minas Tirith, the capital of the Kingdom of Gondor, but the sorceress captain of the forces of Mordor, the Lord of the Nazgul, has been destroyed through a combination of a very old blade that one Hobbit character takes out of the Shire, and the heroine of Lady Eowyn, who is a shield maiden of Rohan, who comes to battle secretly. She isn't supposed to be there, and is in just the right place at just the right time to show as great a courage as any character in this book. Those combinations have put the remaining forces of evil to rout, and given our heroes on the field of battle and in the kingdom of Gondor a tiny bit of a breather. They have had a victory. And it's largely up to them what to decide to do next in anticipation of what Sauron will do next, when he learns that his great captain is dead and that his forces have been thwarted. And so we come to this chapter, The Last Debate, which is the last exposition dump that Tolkien does prior to the appendices of this book, to the major falling action at the end of the novel. Here is his chapter where he excels in these kinds of things, where his characters sit around a table and basically talk. He excels at them. The chapter of the Council of Elrond in the Fellowship of the Ring is a masterclass in how to do this without being boring. And so is The Last Debate. Here, the war is over. We have lost some people. The steward of Gondor, Denethor, went mad and killed himself. The king of Rohan, Theoden, dies in combat on the field. But pretty much everybody else is saved. Aragorn, through the gifts of healing, is able to heal pretty much everyone else that was wounded in one way or another so far in the book. And now there is a breathing moment where our main characters get to come together and talk about what they should do. What they should do next. And that's all that this chapter really is, and it's terrific, as Tolkien's exposition chapters always are. We get some discussion. And I want to read you a chunk of that because I love it so much. "My lords," said Gandalf, "listen to the words of the steward of Gondor before he died. You may triumph on the fields of the Pelennor for a day, but against the power that has now arisen, there is no victory." And then Gandalf continues, that is Denethor, who said that before he died. "I do not bid you despair, as he did, but to ponder the truth of these words. The stones of seeing, that is the palantir that Denethor is holding in his hand when he says that, do not lie, and not even the Lord of Barad-dûr can make them do so. He can, maybe, by his will, choose what things shall be seen by weaker minds, or cause them to mistake the meaning of what they see. Nonetheless, it cannot be doubted that when Denethor saw great forces arrayed against him in Mordor, and more still being gathered, he saw that which truly is. Hardly has our strength sufficed to beat off the first great assault. The next will be greater. This war, then, is without final hope, as Denethor perceived. Victory cannot be achieved by arms, whether you sit here to endure siege after siege, or march out to be overwhelmed beyond the river. You have only a choice of evils. Prudence would counsel that you strengthen such strong places as you have, and there await the onset, for so shall the time before your end be made a little longer. We just hear his disdain. Then you would have us retreat to Minas Tirith or Dol Amroth or to Dunharrow and there sit like children on sand castles while the tide is flowing, says Prince Imrahil. That would be no new counsel, says Gandalf. He cannot resist twisting the knife. He's been urging people to take Sauron seriously for 800 years. That would be no new counsel, said Gandalf. Have you not done this and little more in all the days of Denethor? But no, I said this would be prudent. I do not counsel prudence. I said victory could not be achieved by arms. I still hope for victory, but not by arms. For into the midst of all these policies comes the Ring of Power, the foundation of Barad-dûr, and the hope of Sauron. Concerning this ring, my lords, you now know all enough to understand our plight, and Sauron's. If he regains it, your valor is vain, and his victory will be swift and complete, so complete that none can foresee the end of it while this world lasts. If it is destroyed, then he will fall, and he will fall so low that none can foresee his arising ever again. Gandalf says other evils there may be that may come, for Sauron himself is but a servant or emissary. Yet it is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule. And that is very subtle. It's tucked right in there. But that phrase, the fields that we know, is a direct quote from the King of Elfland's Daughter by Lord Dunsany. It just... Tolkien stores these great phrases away. There are many, many such allusions. An annotated edition of Lord of the Rings would be a thing to see. It will come. Someday it will come. If people can catch these allusions. I'm sure I'm missing plenty. But the Lords in Council want to know, well, what will Sauron make of all of this? If he thinks we have the ring, won't that change his plans? How is this? Asked Éomer. All is vain, you say, if he has the ring. Why should he think it not vain to assail us if we have it? In other words, you're saying if he gets the ring, it's all over. Well, if he thinks we have the ring, why doesn't he think it's all over? He is not yet sure, said Gandalf, and he has not built up his power by waiting until his enemies are secure, as we have done. Again, he's twisting the knife. Also, we could not learn how to wield the full power all in a day. Indeed, it can only be used by one master alone, not by many, and he will look for a time of strife ere one of the great among us makes himself master and puts down the others. In that time the ring may aid him if he were sudden. He is watching. He sees much and hears much. His Nazgûl are still abroad. They passed over this field ere the sunrise, though few of the weary and sleeping were aware of them. He studies the signs, the sword that robbed him of his treasure remade, the winds of fortune turning in our favor, the defeat unlooked for of his first assault, the fall of his great captain. His doubt will be growing, even as we speak here. His eye is now straining towards us, blind almost to all else that is moving. So must we keep it. Therein lies all our hope. This, then, is my counsel. We have not the ring. In wisdom or great folly it has been sent away to be destroyed, lest it destroy us. Without it we cannot by force defeat his force, but we must at all costs keep his eye from his true peril. We cannot achieve victory by arms, but by arms we can give the ring-bearer his only chance, frail though it may be. We must walk open-eyed into that trap, with courage but small hope for ourselves. For, my lords, it may well prove that we ourselves shall perish utterly in the black battle far from living lands, so that even if Barad-dûr is thrown down, we shall not live to see a new age. But this, I deem, is our duty, and better so than to perish none the less, as we surely shall, if we sit here, and know as we die that no new age will be. That is the heart of what Gandalf is proposing here. That we don't have any say in this matter. Frodo, if he succeeds, will succeed without us. All we can do is bait a trap. Ourselves as bait in a trap. To keep Sauron occupied with us so that he doesn't know the danger to himself. It doesn't know what's coming. If it happens. It may not happen. It may be that this quest was foolish and Frodo walks the ring right to Sauron. In which case, the defeat that happens, he will be undefeatable, and the defeat that happens will be complete. But we have no choice. Our only goal here is, as we've been saying all along here in this read-along, our only goal for our heroes is to distract Sauron. That is all, even if it means their own destruction. And so they decide. They decide that they will do that. It's Gandalf's decision, but Aragorn supports him, and everyone supports Aragorn. So that is the last debate: is our heroes deciding we're not going to just wait here, and the only alternative is to march on Sauron, to march to the Black Gates. They don't have even a fraction of the strength necessary to challenge them. But better to keep Sauron's attention devoted to them. So that is what they will do, and that is how the action will continue for this part of the book. So we will just move on. We are slowly approaching the end of The Return of the King, the end of The Lord of the Rings. So anyway, that is the last debate. I will wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.